At 30,000 feet, the sky feels like both a cathedral and a graveyard. Up there, where the air thins and the world curves away into a blue hush, life and death are separated by instinct, timing, and the weight carried by a single name. Imagine being strapped into a machine worth hundreds of millions, knowing that in that instant, your life is valued less than the fuel burning beneath you. One wrong move, one moment of doubt, and you don't just lose a fight, we disappear, reduced to smoke scattered across an endless sky. This is where the story begins. The Pacific stretched endlessly below, glowing like molten gold as the sun sank into the horizon. Captain Elena Ramirez, call sign Valkyrie, guided her jet just above the cloud tops. The engines hummed steadily, her breathing slow and controlled. She had flown countless missions, some uneventful, others disastrous, but nothing in her years of service prepared her for what came next. Her display flickered. Radar alarms flared. 2 contacts were closing fast, and stealthy enough that most pilots would never have noticed them. Elena noticed instantly. Her stomach tightened as the shape slipped out of invisibility. F-22 Raptors, ghosts of the sky. Fighters that could track you, lock you, and destroy you before you even knew they were there. Now both were painting her with targeting radar. A voice snapped through her headset, sharp and authoritative. Unidentified aircraft, this is Raptor. Lead, you are in restricted airspace. Power down and prepare to divert. Failure to comply will be met with force. Lena's fingers hovered over the controls. She could brake left, dive hard, deploy countermeasures, jam the lock. She had done it before, outrun death as missiles screamed past like banshees, but she didn't move. Something deeper than training whispered a single word. Wait. Slowly and spoke. This is Valkyrie. The sky went silent. The radar lock vanished. The warning tone died mid-breath, like a throat suddenly closed. For a split second, she wondered if her systems had failed, if it was all a glitch. Then the voice returned different now, stunned, hesitant, almost reverent. Say again? Confirm? Your call sign. Her reply was calm, steady. Valkyrie. A long pause followed. Then quietly copy that. Breaking off. Her display cleared as the 2 Raptors peeled away, slipping back into the golden clouds as quickly as they had appeared. Ow. No shots, no pursuit, just silence. Why would the deadliest fighters in the world disengage without orders because of a single name? To understand that, you have to go back 6 years. Afghanistan, a dust-choked valley at dusk, jagged mountains slicing the sky into broken shards. Lieutenant Elena Ramirez flew her F-16 above a squad pinned down below. Her people were surrounded, insurgents closing in under heavy fire. The radio crackled with panic voices of men and women she had trained with, laughed with, bled with. They were minutes from being overrun. Command issued the order. It's a kill zone. Do not engage. Retreat. Elena looked down at the smoke, the muzzle flashes creeping closer to her friends. Retreat wasn't an option. Not for her. She broke formation. Alone, she plunged into the valley, engines screaming as she dropped below the ridgeline. Enemy fire tore upward, tracer rounds. Clawing at her jet, she should have turned back. She should have died. Instead, she flew like a ghost. She strafed the ridges, shattered enemy positions, and pulled every hostile eye skyward. Her wing was torn open, her fuselage riddled with holes. Still, she stayed. 45 minutes she held that valley, absorbing fire, buying time until reinforcements finally arrived and pulled the trapped squad out alive. When she landed, her superiors were furious, reckless, insubordinate. But to the soldiers she saved, she was something else entirely. She was a shield. She was death from above, their salvation. Wrapped in steel wings, that night they gave her a new name, Valkyrie. The story spread, quietly whispered across bases, shared in bars, passed along in the corners of briefing rooms. Pilots who had never flown with her knew it. Some owed their lives directly to her. Choice. Others had fathers, brothers, sisters, who lived because she disobeyed orders. It wasn't just a call sign. It was a legend. Back in the present, inside the lead Raptor, The pilot sat frozen after hearing her voice. Major Scott Heron, callsign Grizzly, had mastered every drill and believed himself untouchable in the air. But when that calm voice said Valkyrie, something broke inside him. His father had served in Afghanistan. He rarely spoke about the war except once, after too many drinks. When he told his son about the day, a single pilot defied orders and saved them all. Her name was Ramirez. Her call sign was Valkyrie. Now Scott had weapons locked onto her. His finger hovered near the trigger. He thought of the faces his father could never forget. To fire would be to betray a debt written in blood and fire. He pulled his hand back. Wingman, break off. No hesitation. His partner followed. Because even if they didn't know her personally, every pilot knew the name. Some names are untouchable. Elena flew on in silence as the Raptors vanished beyond the horizon. Her heart pounded, but she never mentioned the incident in her debrief. Officially, it never happened. She completed her mission flawlessly as always. Sometimes, though, when she sat alone with her helmet resting on the table and the hum of the bass faded into the distance, she thought about that moment. Not the danger, not the lock, but the pause, the silence when her name crossed the radio. It wasn't fear that made them disengage. It wasn't politics. Respect earned years earlier in a valley of fire. Respect that turned her name into a shield stronger than steel, a weapon more powerful than missiles. Her legend had saved her life. In a world obsessed with speed, stealth, and firepower, the greatest force isn't always technology. Sometimes, it's legacy, the memory of sacrifice carried across generations of warriors. Captain Elena Ramirez never sought fame. She never wanted to become a myth. She only wanted to fly, to guard the skies, to bring her people home. But her choices carved a story too powerful to erase. And that is why when F-22s locked onto her jet at sunset, the lead pilot turned away. Because sometimes the sky remembers. And sometimes the weight of a single name can turn hunters into protectors. Legends aren't written on paper. They are carved into the silence after battle. Tonight, you've met one of them. This was the story of Valkyrie. If this story held you, if you felt the heartbeat of courage and the cold breath of the skies, stay with us. More legends are waiting too. Be told. Like, comment, and subscribe, because the next story might be the one that makes you believe in legends all over again.